Gentlemen, and welcome to RSF1 Season 2. It is week number 1 of this weekly podcast. Technically week 1, although we did talk about the preview show last week before the racing began. But here we are for week number 2, the review of week 1 in racing. So let us begin. My name is RSF1 Brundle, and I'm joined by 2 guests tonight. First is the I was going to say something. I'm not allowed to say it actually. Anyway, I'm joined by Verstappen. I was going to say the meme that everyone knows you by, but I can't say the word.
No, because you're not copyrighted. You're not licensed to it.
I am not licensed to it. Anyway, good evening, Ben.
Good evening.
And I'm also joined by Captain King Kentish himself, Mr. Alonso. So, good evening to you.
Really, Liberace? Really? You want to go down that road?
Yes.
Fine, whatever.
Yes, we are.
I mean, unbelievable. Mr. Indeed. I mean, as a lovely piano of yours. I mean,
Piano?
yeah, that's right. There you go, Liberace. Yeah, you have reincarnated. Read the high note.
How are you?
That's
Tomo,
that's
anyway?
Tomo's brother in the background, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. I'm joined by my brother in the background, actually. Say hello, Alex. Bonjour. There you go.
And exactly like Tomo. It blows my mind. Anyway,
I'm
just
fine. Thank you very much.
All good.
So
Just for people's interest, this is just some little background thing as we talk. So this is not a recap of the race. If anybody who's a little bit confused about on the background, that's Start off with you, Ben. Obviously, we've got a few things to talk about. We'll be going over the team garages, the races of this week. We'll also be talking about the overall team points, the combined constructors. We have the totals up for you, obviously provisional, because as of this moment, we do not have the stewards report. So that does go hand in hand with the results. Let's clear up that. But as a general kind of feel, Ben, we'll begin with you. Week 1 of this racing has been very, very good for me personally. But do you agree with that? This as a whole.
Overall, I think it's exceeded expectations, or mine own. Of course, there's going to be hiccups and rustiness from certain drivers in old tiers, but the committee and people who are involved setting season 2 up have done a good job. It's been a good start to the season so far.
All good. What about you, Tomo, should I say?
Well, basically, the races have been pretty decent. I mean, obviously, F3 was fantastic on Thursday. Pretty decent enough. But there's been quite a number of interesting incidents that have happened in pretty much every single race throughout the divisions. As far as the stewards' reports are concerned, I believe they're actually being worked on as we speak, and they should be up and running by 4 Sunday. So I've been informed.
Okay, fair enough. But obviously, we're not here to talk about obviously stewards' incidents. We let the obviously staff talk about that and decide. Obviously, with and obviously you're going to get that in league racing, aren't you, Ben? But good racing in general and some very interesting results, which we of course will go over. But some very surprising results, I guess. Few new names coming to the front now in every tier.
Yeah, I mean, this is what happens with every new season in any racing league. You get new people springing up at the front, people moved up, people moved down. I mean, yeah, and we had that certainly in RSF1 season 2.
Yeah, so and obviously what became of this week very, very quickly is the rivalry between the teams. The team garages, which is obviously a new thing into this season. Obviously Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, Renault, McLaren, etc. They were built to help the drivers and to also coincide with combined constructors points. And there's already a big rivalry going on. It's only week 1 of this 21 race season, and already you got some heated rivals between teams. I believe there's an interesting one between Ferrari and Haas at the moment, which got very heated in the last race.
Brundle, can I just say, my brother is listening to the Twitch as we're obviously broadcasting, and he's finding it very, very hard to not fall asleep. I have to say, your reputation precedes you there, mate. You're doing so well.
Not 2 of them, Jesus.
Oh yeah, 2 of us.
Well, he doesn't have to watch it now, does he? If he finds it boring, he doesn't have to watch it. Simple. Anyway, yes, the team garages, the rivalries between the teams. Tomo, as you want to comment so much about it, what do you think of? Obviously, you're driving for the Alpha, if I remember rightly.
Yes, I'm driving for the Alpha. That's correct.
Do you already have a team that you really want to beat?
Yes, 2 teams actually, fun enough. The main thing is, the main focus more than anything is to defeat those bloody Red Bulls, but also to make sure that obviously we beat the Toro Rossos, because obviously Reb's in it.
Boys, it's always got to be something to do with Revster, isn't it? You got like a man crush on him.
Listen, let me put it this way, okay? You know as well as I do, right? Revster's not beaten me for 2 seasons in a row. And then he had an opportunity to do it because unfortunately I returned. Look, I mean inconsistently all the way through the season.
Okay, you weren't specific, see.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm good at doing specifics. You know what you like, you know what I mean? Otherwise, if I asked you, we'd probably be sitting here till God knows the face.
Fake Liberace, Mark shit fucking driving, let's get it straight.
Alright. What about you, Ben? Have you...
Sorry about that.
Yeah, try and turn that down a bit. As for you, Ben, obviously driving for McLaren, you have your own set of rivalries obviously in the Tier 1, but has anybody in the McLaren garage said that we really want to beat this team now?
Not specific team, no, just trying to, do better, all of us, than Australia. I mean, half of us had bad luck with people crashing into others and into them, but I guess for myself is just get top 3, top 4 for the first season of these team garages.
Obviously, we'll see. Yeah, I think already as well. Ferrari have my team that I drive for have already started a trend. So whenever somebody does well or overtakes someone part of the Ferrari team, they say Forza Ferrari, which already is getting on people's nerves. I didn't start that. Somebody else did.
Unity did. I find it was Unity.
Blame him.
Sorry, apologies. We're having a little conversation while you're talking about that. Sorry, we're just discussing the barriers, because I've just said to my brother that don't swear, because otherwise we could possibly get banned from YouTube, Twitch.
We're discussing the terms of payment.
Yeah, we're discussing terms.
That does include you, Tomo.
I don't swear.
You do.
How dare I? How dare you? I have not sweared at all.
You always swear.
I do not swear. What? How? When have I sworn? I do not swear.
You swear in your sleep.
Okay.
You have once or twice. Anyway, we're going off topic. But in general, the team garages have been a very good idea, Tomo, haven't they?
Yeah,
obviously it helps the other drivers going on setups and tyre strategy.
Yeah, I mean, there are some good drivers in different sort of teams this year. But one of the main things that I found when I was commentating on F3 with Ben on Thursday, that whilst he was doing the stream and I was doing the chats, a lot of people were cheering on their own teams. You know, pressing forward. So all the other drivers for the other divisions were cheering on for the teams to get points. So this decision that we've had is really kicked in. It's actually been a really good idea. Whoever came up with the idea needs a pat on the back, because it's sort of everybody's embraced it. And it's worked really well on the chats from Discord. I mean, I speak quite regularly to the guys in the other divisions and in Alfa Romeo team, and we help each other out. We try to big each other up. I didn't have a very good race. I retired early, and I shouldn't have done, because I would have picked up 2 points. It happens. So no, it's not because I'm rubbish, Alex.
He said it. You said it.
Alex,
me.
what did you just say without swearing? There you go.
Yeah, that word.
I saw you the other day on the practice run. You were crap.
Right. See, I don't mind
Tomo
that.
in
That's
the
fine.
background.
Supportive
That's
family.
fine. That
Supportive
sort
family
of,
is
you know what I
brilliant.
mean? That language, but it can't go any more than that.
When you more
Thank you.
severe than that. Yeah,
Good.
yeah. All very, very good. All very, very good. And obviously that's going to build across the season. And I think by geez, if we've got rivalries already, can you imagine what it's going to be like in 3 or 4 weeks' time? Not going to be nice people anymore. But yeah, let's get things off properly now with the review of all the races going on with Australia. So we start off with the race that happened on Sunday, the race that kicked things off this season. It was the F2 division. Now, did you guys both watch this on Sunday?
Some of it, yes.
Am
Sorry, but
Okay.
sorry, mate. Sorry, I had my mute. Sorry, you was asking a question. I apologise. My brother was asking me a quick question. Go on, fire away.
Okay. Did you watch the F2 race on Sunday?
No, I did not, unfortunately, because there was more impressive things to worry about, i.e. Liverpool winning against Manchester United. No.
No, and who cares about that?
We're gonna win league. Sorry. So basically, at the end of the day, obviously, how can I put it this way? F2 was quite interesting in certain aspects. There was some dodgy driving at turn 1 between certain drivers. I won't name their
Don't need
names.
to talk about that. Stop bringing up
And
incidents.
stuff like that. No, I haven't brought up any incidents. I just said dodgy driving. Did I say
talk about
incidents? But anyway,
No.
Listen. All the divisions had incidents all the way through, so it was just going to be one of those things. It was all rustiness and everything. However, obviously the race went through, stuff like that. I know you was doing extremely well, but obviously clear to your reputation, Mr. Brundle. Obviously, king penalty, obviously yourself. You know what I mean? You went from first to fourth, so congratulations there, mate. You know what I mean? I've got to give you credit where credit is due. All in all, I thought F2 was very, very good. It was, yeah, he cheated. And basically, let me put it this way. As far as I'm concerned, oh, sorry, I've got this in the background there, and you can hear it. As far as I'm concerned, when I look at it, F2 was a very good race. Top 2 were battling it out. Obviously, that was yourself, and I can't remember who was actually behind you at the time. I do apologise about that.
No Charles.
That's it, no Charles. There you go. And he did very, very well himself to keep up with you. And the rest of the actual race was just pretty decent. I mean, you know, we did lose. We lost a couple of drivers and stuff like that, but like I said to you, all the divisions literally had an issue with all drivers, and I just think it was just down purely to rustiness, really. You know, new drivers, new rules, and just new ways of dealing with things. People with different cars and different setups. So, because obviously with the part Fermi on, so there you go.
Okay. What about you, Ben? What do you remember of F2? Obviously, positive thing first.
Very close tier. I think it's probably the closest tier on paper. Good battling, good racecraft. As Tomo said, there's going to be silly mistakes and people crashing out as the rustiness dies off them, hopefully, for the next couple of races and throughout the season. But yeah, not too bad.
Yeah. as Tomo pointed out, I did race in F2 on Sunday, and yes, my penalties came above me. One on track, but dropped down to third. But there you go. Still a solid result. Yeah, it was good. F2 always, last season there was always good battles. It was always very competitive, especially in qualifying. But it was the Devil that got pole position, and he. I remember thinking in that race, because I was at second at this point, and he made a mistake when he had about 4-second gap in front, and lost all that and had to make an unscheduled pit stop. Still recovered to 6th place, which is still a very solid result, but yeah, that could come back to haunt him. But he's feels gutted about it, and he is ready to move on, as is everyone else. But yeah, good race. Results, as I said before the start of the stream, are provisional. We do not have the reports as we speak. They are being processed at this point, so they will be on the website very soon, probably at the end of this podcast. By the end of this, it'll be up. But as of the time being, we have Oaks in 10th place, Smoke and Bates in 9th, Jessley in 8th, RSF1 D Hill 7th, The Devil in 6th, RSF1 Schumacher 5th, Tabitsi in 4th, myself RSF1 Bundle in 3rd, Brazina in 2nd, and No Shoals taking out the first victor of F2. Driver of the day, I believe, was D Hill in the Ferrari. Came from, I think it was 17th to finish eventually 7th in that race. Obviously, I think this also Schumacher came from 12th to finish in 6th place, so 5th place, sorry. So yes, all going to be across the whole tiers, Ben. It's going to be down to consistency, and obviously those results that Schumacher, D Hill have got, bad qualifying or disappointing qualifying to good race, that could help them in the long run, couldn't it?
Yeah, as you said, consistency is the main part of a season in any tier. Even if you have the bad qualities now and then, bringing in the points is what matters, especially with these team championship combined constructors, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, all good. Obviously, I do need to mention two shout-outs before we go any further. First of all, for everybody in the free, I'll go with free. First of all, the recruitment, which I've done some of it, but obviously Verstappen, you came in to help, as well as others in the recruitment that have built the or filled up the tiers with reserves now. I believe at this present moment, I think every tier has at least 1 or 2 reserves. Some obviously have more, but I believe every tier has reserves. And obviously, thank you very much for everyone for the help so far. And obviously, all the recruitment team will be constantly working because the spaces will be needed to fill. Secondly, for those who created the tiers in the first place, me and Ben had a discussion. I think it was Ben had a discussion earlier. The tiers are, for me, very close. Obviously, there are people that will say there are a few differences in that, but I think as a whole, all 5 tiers are very competitive. And thirdly, obviously, I need to give a massive shout out to Stygian, RSF1 Stygian, who does the hot laps. I don't know if you two have seen it. If you haven't, I applaud you. For anyone who hasn't, do watch the hot lap videos on our YouTube channel, RSF1 Racing, and he's done a hot lap, and it's very, very good. It's got the whole track as well, like they do in real F1 as well. So it's a fantastic job, and he's going to do that throughout the remainder of the season. So yeah, all very good, all very good stuff.
Could I just say one thing? K-Mag said put the stream on the car clips thing. So instead of that, why don't we make the lobby earlier so people have something to watch whilst listening?
Okay, do you want to make the lobby up then? Fair enough, we'll do that. No problem. Although when it gets to the combined constructors, I will have to drop out and go do that because there's a way of doing that as well. So
That is fine.
Tomo, if you want to join it.
I've got the points for that. I've already got that information already.
But we all do. But if you want to do it, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I've got it all on hand with it anyway, so it's fun.
Alright, cool. Do you want to join this session as well, and then we can carry on?
Yeah, carry on. Go on, I'm just joining. But there's an error code, so I'm going to have to do it another way.
Okay, fair enough. Right, so moving on. Obviously, yes, as we said, as a whole, F2 in general kicked off the show on Sunday in a very good tier, and obviously they will kick off again tomorrow night for the very first race at Bahrain. I'm nervous. I think everyone else is as well in that tier to carry on the good action. Who can take the win on that one? So yeah, let's moving on to Monday, the F4 division, which was commentated by myself and Vettel SF71, also known as AMS Vettel. Now, did you watch Monday's one? Please tell me you did.
Nope.
Nope.
Oh, great. Great. So you don't even know.
You get to talk more. Come on, enjoy it.
Yeah, I'll try not to fall asleep.
I'll try not to drag it on. Right, yeah. Very good stuff from F4. Me and Vettel are looking very much to this on Monday nights.
Just a quick thing, sorry, before you carry on, I can't actually join your session, Ben. It's not allowed me to. George,
That's fine. You just get the what's it called?
Okay, no problem. Sorry,
The standings.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it's because you said it to 1 or 2 or something like that. I think you locked it down. Anyway, carrying on. Yes, F4 was very interesting. Obviously, going into that, me and Vettel were guessing how who was going to be the front runners, and yeah, they did show their hand, but New Kids on the Block did some good stuff as well. That again, the field got spread out because of an incident in turn 1, which did spread the field out a little bit, but as Ben, you said, it's people getting used to everyone on the grid in their tiers, so on and so forth. So yeah, always good. Kid Cuddy, this is a new name to me personally. Impressed. Obviously, he went on to win the race in the Red Bull, and in fact, F4, and obviously we'll get to the combined team points later, but Red Bull in F4 did a perfect performance. Kid Cudi and Quaker Oats, first and third for them, did very, very well. Yes, was a very good race. Top 10 in that. Tedist was in 10th, Bodder with 9th, RSF1 Scotsman 8th with Porter 7th, RSF1 Raikkonen 6th with Monster Skyline 5th, Junior in 4th with Quaker Oats 3rd, Daniel P45 2nd, and Kid Cudi taking the win. Junior, I believe, was driver of the day on the night, and very well deserved, of course, because he came from pretty much 16th, 17th, and had to take tyres a very long way to eventually come home in 4th place. Yeah, very good race indeed, and F4, I'm definitely very much looking forward to it on Monday night. Alright, moving on to F5, which was...
No, F1. That was Tuesday.
F1, sorry. Yeah, F1 was before F5. This is a bit confusing me. Right, F1. Verstappen, you raced in F1 on the Tuesday, opening round. How did your race go? I believe you went on the hard tyres because you started outside the top 10. How did your race go in general for you?
The very, very low expectations for that race. I was way off the pace on the pad. I qualified pretty much second to back row. Couldn't get a better lap in Q1, even if I tried. I was pushing that McLaren. Race was better because of carnage by certain drivers, which allowed me to push up the field. Managed to get ninth, so I'll take that.
Yeah, very good, all things considered. Were you surprised with the so-called pecking order of the whole sort of, like, because obviously you knew kind of probably going into the race on Tuesday who you was going to be racing against or who was going to be at the front. Were you surprised at all with what eventually came out to be, or is what you expected?
I expected Pigeon and Legends, well, Karoon, to be near the front, but I think they had their issues in the race. Obviously, I know Skunk and Dyslexic were going to be at the front. It's a bit gutting not being at the front on the wheel, but that's part of racing, I guess. You have to improvise, try my best on the pad. Managed to get ninth, as I said, so I didn't expect anything else from the other guys.
Yep. Did you watch F1 on the Tuesday, Dominic? You're not there. Okay.
I'm here.
yeah,
Sorry. I'm here. Sorry. I thought I'd actually switch my mic on. Sorry. No, unfortunately, I had to work on that day. I was working a little bit late, so. But yeah, that was basically about it. But I didn't have a chance to watch the F1 race, so sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, I did, and I think it was a very intriguing race, because obviously F1 is the pinnacle of the league. You expect them to be fast and all that as well, and they certainly were, blistering times. I believe pole was... What pole was it? Skunk Burner wasn't pole, wasn't he?
19, no, Dyslexic. Got a 19.8, I think, or 19.7, just over
19.8.
Skunk.
The only one in the 19th, wasn't he, Dyslexic? That's one thing I do remember.
Skunk. Just those two in, out of the whole division.
Yeah, it was very good. Very, very, very competitive. I know kind of who's going to be at the front, but I have this sort of general feel, and this is only from week one, of course, Ben, that there are multiple race winners in that tier.
Yeah, I could
yes,
name 6 or 7. Oh
that
yeah,
does include you.
It's not really news, but do I say
tracks.
the news?
What news?
What?
Because some people have been slating me for my pace elements.
Oh yeah.
For those people who are interested, I am getting a new wheel within the next week or so. So watch out.
Getting his frontline speed back.
More crashes in Q3 incoming.
Fair
Oh,
enough.
here we go. Bottle John's coming back again.
that was you,
several
mate.
drivers. Yeah, several drivers impressed me over that F1 race. And I think one of the names springing to mind is Skadoosh, actually, or Element Snow, as other people know him. But he's changed his name to Skadoosh.
He calls himself.
Yeah. Yeah, he qualified outside the top 10, I believe, like 16th or 17th in that race, but came home 8th and had very good race pace. So maybe that's something he's going to have to call upon in this tier, because he already said going into it he'd be struggling, or be not struggling, a challenge to be competitive. But his race pace is pretty much up there, judging by what he did.
Yeah, he was very
On Tuesday,
consistent.
Ben, do you feel the same?
He was very consistent, quicker than me, so I didn't like that. An F2 driver coming up and beating me, but that will be changing soon, don't you worry.
He's F3.
Shh, carry on, next thing.
Is F3 even worse?
Somebody got promoted
does
to
that
F3 as beating you.
What does that say about that certain person? The famous phrase.
Yeah, don't say it. We've already gone through that. We're burying
No,
that, okay?
no,
we're burying that
he's
with the material
not
that
here.
uses. We're burying it.
He's
okay?
not here. He's not here. He's too busy doing. He's just too busy
yeah.
building those things in the big lanes in Brazil.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Right, top 10 in the F1. Just ripping right through that. We have Easton, another new boy to the F1. He came home in 10th with the one we're spectating right now. Verstappen in 9th. Skadoosh in 8th, who was ahead of Verstappen. That's the last time I'm going to mention it. 7th was Bama Viking with RSF1 and Vettel in 6th. Pigeon was in 5th. I had to count up on my list.
Your maths blows my mind.
I know. I didn't put numbers. Mr. Pigeon was 5th with my co-commentator for Monday's AMS Vettel in 4th. Then my illustrious team owner, Unity Hush, in the Ferrari in 3rd. Scump Burnett 2nd, and Dyslexic picked up the first race victory for F1 to kick off his campaign. So all very, very good stuff in F1. And then we move on to Tomo and F5.
Really? You want to go down that road?
Yeah. Yeah, so
Here we
you
go.
no, you said
You
the amount of
take
penalties
it.
I got
Come
in
on.
F2 on
You've
Sunday.
been giving it. Come on. Take it. You're good at
What?
that.
What? No, I was never confused. Right. Yes, I crashed out in Q1. Yes.
Twice.
Apparently it was. No, I didn't crash out twice. I crashed out once in Q1.
Restart.
Oh, what?
Yeah, they had a
Thanks. Cheers.
restart,
Okay,
didn't
you know what I mean? I'm not.
just sending you twice.
Shut up, you. The Rachi. Anyway, so basically what happened was I crashed out in Q1. Shut it. And then basically what happened was I had to sit around. There was a bit of a restart because there was a bit of. Thanks. And I had to. We had a restart, unfortunately, due to a bit of a problem. So we had to fully restart. But then obviously we had some other issues as well. And then, well, the race start, it was interesting to say the least. My teammate was doing pretty well. And unfortunately, yes, I retired with 8 laps to go. Shouldn't have done it because if I carried on, I would have picked up 2 points. Yeah, thanks.
It's like an echo.
So, yeah, I don't think they heard you. Say it louder.
Don't say
There you
it.
go.
Okay,
That's
fair
right.
enough.
But all in all, it was a pretty decent sort of division. I mean, we had a few little. Again, F5 is one of those leagues where you've got drivers that have been there for before, myself included, Rebstar, to name a couple of other people. And obviously Timmer and Timonique. But no, it's the first race of the season. You're going to have your teething problems. Unfortunately, I felt mine. It was the wrong thing for me. But I think it will be very good for Bahrain. So we've got something to look forward to. As far as constructors are concerned, I was pleased to see that Rebstar did crash out. So he didn't score any points, which is good. The Ferraris, 4 had a very impressive race in the Ferrari. RSF1 louder, shall I say.
It's louder now.
Yeah, all right. It's not louder. I'm not doing it louder. Behave yourself. And then, yeah, pretty much it was a great. It was not a bad race, for everything else. I think it will get better in time. And then, that's the way I look at it. So.
You mean you'll get better in time?
Look, listen. All right, okay. Let me put it this way, okay. You will always score more penalties than me, Sunshine, regardless. But I'll also crash out more times than you.
Yeah. Guess we're in the same day. It was a very entertaining race, actually. I felt I watched this, including the whole restart thing. So it was a long one, but But I will add up to that point that the restart actually didn't take very long to sort out again. I believe it was 5-10 minutes. So obviously, thank you to all those in F5 listening or watching at any point. Yeah, it was very good organisation to bring that back and not too much interruption. The show must go on. So, not many finished in the F5, and many people were claimed by the deadly. I believe it's called Mr. Whippy Corner. Somebody called it at some point this week.
That's probably something you come out with, knowing you. You know what I mean? You always.
No, it's not me. It's someone else. I think Junior. I think it's something that Junior said.
Oh yeah, I think it was probably Junior City. Yeah, probably
Mr. Whippy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That just sounds really bad.
In fact, across the entire tiers, actually, those two corners are littered with F1 cars this week. So many retired across the entirety of the tiers. I believe, if my maths are correct, because I did count this earlier. Where did I put it?
You and counting doesn't go well.
Yeah, I lost it. It's double figures.
What, your marbles or?
He lost his marbles.
It's double figures the amount of retirements.
Well, let me put it
in
this
that
way.
one spot.
F3 had the most. F3 had the most retirements.
Yeah.
So they led the way.
As we jinxed him with the frontline speed.
9. Actually, no, 10. 9 retirements.
No, in that spot.
Turn up. In that spot, I think
where
we
Ben's
had,
going through now.
In that spot, F3 had 6.
Yeah, you know what's right.
Yes,
Very
Michael,
tricky.
you was correct. Well done. Congratulations. Let's move on.
What is it about that turns, Alonso? Because you crashed there about 3 times yourself.
Really? You're going to go down the road?
No, it's a genuine question.
I'm going to give you a genuine punch in a minute if you keep it up. Right, anyway, go on, carry on.
All I'm saying, Tomo, is as Ben said, you can dish it out, but we can't take it. So.
No, I can.
But anyway,
moving on. Fine, but go on, carry on. I mean, obviously, you know.
There you go. You can take it.
I lasted longer. Okay. No, not like that. Easy. Relax, yourselves. I mean, but the thing about it is, yes, I did make a few mistakes. Actually, I only made one mistake around there. That was at Q1. I didn't make loads of crashes around there. You cheeky git. I mean,
but you bottled the race, so that's another one.
Well, yeah, okay.
Mention that one.
Okay, I'll take that. That's fine. Yes, it is. I did because I felt that I wasn't going to improve, and I felt that obviously, you know, I was going to let Webster bask in his glory, and then unfortunately for me, you know, it didn't happen. So there you go.
Yeah. So rounding up, I'd say rounding out the top 10, 8 finished in the F5 race. 8th was Connor Todd in his very first race in the league. RSF1 was 7th. Overcome Orphan, I believe, got his best result of his career so far in 6th. Timmer was 5th. RSF1 Lauder in the Ferrari was 4th. Military Forest was 3rd. And Jay Locker, I need to point out Jay Locker, and I'm sorry if you are watching or listening, Jay Locker, but when Tim and Ike does his memes, either halfway throughout the season or at the end of the season, I hope your mistake is in it.
Why?
Because
there's just no need for that, is there, Brundle? I mean, you know, you're just being hurtful.
No.
You're just being hateful.
It's fine. It's fine, Tomo. We'll see at the end of it. Mexico DQ from Brundle.
No. If you're getting that, you've got a race before that. He's got his lovely track that he loves. Remember Canada? He loves that track. He's fond of that track. He loves that track so much. He enjoys it so much.
Moving on.
Cuts the corners.
Moving on. Yes, because Jay Locker was. All right. Jay Locker was 4 corners away. Where you are right now, Ben?
Yeah, where I didn't bottle
and
it.
He lost. What?
Just then, I'm just saying I didn't bottle it. The
suspense.
suspense.
I was saying, no. I'm saying the corner. I'm just so you understand. But you didn't see it clearly. He lost it there with a 6-second gap. on the last lap. Yes. Which meant Tim and Ike himself, the creator of the meme video, who anybody who hasn't seen it, please do, ended up winning the race from that. And Jay Locker has not
You've been bullying him
recovered
again.
since, so he's alright.
So
No,
basically you've been
no, I
bullying
haven't
him.
actually started it.
Unbelievable. What is wrong with you? You know what I mean? You're just so aggressive all of a sudden there, Brundle. Hey, you're so unbelievable. He doesn't like it. If he doesn't like it,
No,
he's got to start taking care of
in
other
all
people.
seriousness, I was gutted for him, but yeah, I'm sure he's fine about it. He's already said in the chats in the Discord that he doesn't mind at all, and literally there's no harshness from me at all. It was just the luck and everything with that. So I'm sure he'll be back in Bahrain as everyone else will be. Yeah,
We
but
shall
the
see.
F5 obviously commentated by Raikkonen and Bamba Viking. That was going to be a entertaining season, I'm sure. If not for the racing, but for the formation laps from Raikkonen as well. If you two haven't listened to that.
Oh, yeah, I heard it. And enough of it. And oh, God's sake, honestly.
It's bullseye, isn't it? Very good stuff. And last but not least, we have F3, commentated by these lovely two gentlemen. Wait, gentlemen, kids.
Wait,
Kids, I'll have you know, I'm not a kid, thank you very much.
Kids
What's the front line speed?
and frontline speed.
There
Frontline
you
speed.
Go on, you say
Right,
F3.
my brother's looking at me as if I'm some sort of absolute idiot.
No, I'm bored as fuck.
Well, you are.
Shh. Right. What do you mean I
Tomo,
am?
take the lead, F3.
Oh,
Go on
F3
then,
was
let's
amazing. Q1 was, well, put it this way, Q1 was absolutely close as anything. Never, I mean, to be perfectly honest, it was like separated by like literally a couple of turns between all of them, really. But basically, putting it this way, pretty much, what, Q1, I'd say was fantastic. Q2, we had a couple of interesting people that went out. I saw one of them today, so that was a bit weird. Q3, it was looking out to be between Ferrari and Haas, or as you like to call it, Haas, or Horse, because you have a difficulty trying to say it. Anyway, and then the race, it was just from start to finish, it didn't back off, didn't let off. We literally lost 9 drivers throughout the entire race. And then of all people to go ahead and win it, Ben, I mean, all people. It had to be Camo, didn't it? It
Not
had
being
to
harsh
be
to
him.
them.
No, I'm not being harsh, but obviously you could just tell. I mean, he was just sitting there, all absolutely sitting pretty. He could not wait for me to go, oh. I had to sit there.
He had his speech and everything, didn't he?
Yeah, I know, he had a speech prepared. Oh, for God's sake, it was bleh. You know what I mean? So, no, all joking aside, he had a really good race. It was a fantastic race from all guys. Unfortunately, Alfa Romeo didn't do a very good job in F3, but I'm sure they'll bounce back because they're going to be really, really good. But yeah, pretty much, but no, all in all, F3 was a really, really good race. I was really impressed with everybody. Yeah, pretty much, it was actually pretty decent. So, what did you think, Ben?
I thought, without being biased, I thought it was the best race to commentate on. I mean, had everything. Crashes. Shut up.
Yeah, no, look, listen, no.
You didn't watch 2 of them.
We said commentate, not fall asleep to.
You didn't watch 2 of them, so how can you judge?
But the other ones I watched, they were good, but I thought F3 was better.
F3, right, everybody came back and said
End
F3
to
was
end,
very,
constantly.
very end to end, all the way through, didn't stop, it was actually fantastic. So there you go.
We are a neutral podcast.
No, oh yeah.
Come on,
You've got
McLaren.
people here.
In our opinion, we thought it was the best one. Instead, somebody come out and went, oh, in the background.
Bloody attention-seeking sod.
I know, he is, isn't he?
I had a cough, alright? I had a cough.
Yeah, of course you did.
It's contagious because you support Brighton, that's why.
Oh, well, don't go into that.
Yeah.
Right,
he's from
results.
Brighton, you know.
Results in F3.
You got the results? Who's got the results?
Well, I'm on
And
track,
apparently
so.
does.
What
Who
did
has
I
the
say,
results?
Michael? Not listening again, bloody hell, Tomo. We can't do this, can we, with him? Jesus.
I know, yeah, no,
It's on
yeah,
the
yeah,
streaming
exactly.
account
it's
if
not-
you listened.
if it's
Bloody
if
hell,
it's
sorry about
not,
this, chat.
If it's not, yeah, I know. If it's not about him, he doesn't want to know.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, so basically, first place was Camo's. If I remember the top three, unfortunately, so top three I remember was Charismatic, who was leading the race. Unfortunately, gave up the first win to Camo due to penalties, which was a bit unfortunate. But they were having a fantastic race. Big shout out to Camo, got driver of the day because he actually did very, very well for the Haas team. I think that the Haas and Ferrari, all joke aside, in F3 will be the two teams to watch out for. I don't know what your feelings about that are, Ben, but they were
Definitely
battling each other for those two. They're both very good, strong teams. You've got Charismatic, you've got Duffer versus Camo and an RSF1 Seal. So that it's gonna be a really, really good battle between those two teams for F3. And I think also Red Bull with Bianchi, if his teammate sort of gets his groove right, Bianchi was doing very well. And in fairness, he did very well. He got a podium himself. He finished third in the race for the Red Bull, so that was a very good race. Fourth, if I remember correctly, was I can't remember who was fourth. Who was fourth? Ben? Sorry. That was like K-Mac, because he was actually sitting third, wasn't he? 'Cause he was battling Charismatic, but he had loads of penalties as well. Fifth, I believe, because the last drivers that finished, we had Falcon, we had
Top Notch.
Top Notch, we had finished. We also had Alco Saints. He actually finished the race. He actually finished 10th in the McLaren. He had a really bad race to remember. If it hadn't been for the other drivers to crash out, I don't think Alco would have scored a point for McLaren. He had a really, really horrible race. It just didn't go well for him at all. I'm just trying to remember the rest of the drivers. Ben, help me out here.
I honestly can't remember off the top of it. I know Top Notch got some good points. As you said, Alco got 10th in the McLaren. That's a good job. He got a point for the team. Nice one.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, you're just on about the front runners, really. Haas and Ferrari. I mean, they're flying, but it's only one race in the season for the F3 division. I mean, anything can happen. So we shall see.
Yeah, it was a bit. I don't know. There was a absolutely. I'll tell you what. There is one driver I want to mention actually because he had a fantastic race. Q2 he crashed out, which was McCracklin. He actually crashed out in Q. No, he crashed out in Q1.
Yes.
I think he did.
I remember. Yes.
He started 19th and finished 6th, which is an unbelievable.
In the Renault.
battle. Bear in mind, he actually lost the front wing, had to pit, went to the actual hards, carried on throughout the race, and because of certain penalties, he actually moved himself up. He was sitting in 8th, but finished 6th. So he went from 19th to 6th, and he was one of the candidates for driver of the day. But the only reason we gave it to Camo is because Camo was very consistent all the way through, did not battle up, literally drove around the track with 1 penalty and 2 warnings, whereas Charismatic had 3 and K-Mac had about 4 or 5, I think. So, but I think Charismatic will be battling up there in the Renault. His teammate, Smooth Driver, or as I like to call him, Smooth Operator. Yeah, baby. Basically, I think he will be all right. He just needs to sort out a couple of little bits and pieces here, there, and everywhere. And obviously, Seal had a race to forget, so I think he'll want to just brush it off and continue on. But one thing that I have to say though, and I think a lot of people were absolutely blitzed by it, his pole position time was F2 pole position time, which was 1:20.5. That was unbelievable.
That's quicker than mine.
It was quick. Yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, basically, we were
Great,
looking at 121.1. We said 120.9 in the comms, and we said that might do it. But he did it. He absolutely destroyed it with 120.5 in pole position, which was unbelievable. It was fantastic. So, fair play to him. But now, I do have the full list of the constructors' combined totals, if you'd like me to go through them, Brundle.
All three of us have. So, shall we do this together?
No. I'm going to do this. And then
Next time I'll do it. Let him have his moment.
Yeah, right. So, you've been talking for ages, Brundle. Come on, be nice. Let other people try. So here we go. So, okay, so we'll start from the bottom and work our way to the top. I think that'll be better, actually. So, holding up the pack.
I'm scrolling through the teams as you speak this.
So
this is the way I'm going to do it.
Here we go. So holding up the pack with 24 points is McLaren. Not a good start for the first league. So, you know what I mean? They've got a lot of work to do. However, it's not just them. 5 points ahead in 29 is Mercedes. Then
A little bit of time between each one.
I'm sorry. Okay, all right. You know. So anyway, Mercedes again, 29 points. I believe the majority of the points was scored by one driver throughout the in the actual
Dyslexic in F1.
Dyslexic, yeah, in F1. So that's they've got a lot of work to do in the Mercedes camp there. Next up, third from bottom is Williams, only a point ahead in 30 points. So again, but which is very good because obviously with Williams drivers being higher than McLaren, Mercedes. Bragging rights at the moment. McLaren are sitting at the bottom, so let's have a look. Next up is Toro Rosso with 31 points. So, again, you know, I know that obviously drivers like Rebster and Timmer and Top Notch, obviously Top Notch scored some points for Toro Rosso in F3 as well, so, you know, fair play to them. And then we've got a bit of a gap because the next team is Racing Point with 52 points. That's a massive, massive gap, that is, isn't it, boys? Going from 31 to 52. That's a 21 point gap. Again, Racing Point had a really good start. You know, some of the drivers didn't actually make it, but again, 52 points, not bad. Then let's get to the top. We now get to the top five. So in fifth place with 63 points is the Haas. Team Haas. Yeah, Team Haas, 63 points. Again, another 11-point lead there. Doing pretty well for themselves. Good drivers driving now. In fourth place, it's the Banana Boat team themselves. Renault with 64 points. So it's sitting in fourth, a point ahead of Haas. Doing again, they've got some really, really good drivers in that team. To name a few, Shane again, McCracklin. We've got two new drivers in the F5 division for Renault as well, which is good. So we've got a fourth back. Then we now get to the nitty gritty. We now to the top three. In third place with 66 points is Ferrari. It's your team, isn't it, Brundle? Eh? 66 points,
I'll
2 points clear of the Renault. So
what I'm going to do after you've revealed who is second and first, I'm going to break down, because I've broken it down of who, you know, where all the majority of the points were, because you mentioned Mercedes Dyslexic. I'll quickly go through it because it's interesting, but yeah, fair place not too bad.
Yep, not bad for Ferrari.
A few members were disappointed with their own individual races, but yeah, good start.
Yep. Second place.
Second and who's first?
So second. So we're down to two teams. It's either Red Bull or Alfa Romeo. Well, I can reveal the second place is Alfa Romeo. That's right, 72 points. Not a fantastic start from Alfa Romeo. Not bad at all. I know, obviously, F3 had the worst start for Alfa Romeo. Again, the drivers there. Again, obviously, it's an unfortunate thing. I didn't have a very good race myself. No points in. There was only 6 points in F5 for Alfa Romeo. But I know Raikkonen and Schumacher and the rest of the guys did a fantastic job as well. especially as also Skunkburner. We mentioned him earlier. He did a fantastic job as well. He drives in the Alfa Romeo himself as well. But the team that is leading the way, only a 2-point lead, is Red Bull. 74 points they've got, so that is a great start again from Red Bull, but not running away with it. But it's good to see that you've got almost, they're 8 points clear of Ferrari already. So, and with Alfa Romeo being 6 points clear of Ferrari, it could be interesting. So with Bahrain coming up, you never know. So that is the combined Constructors' Championship as it stands.
Thank you very much, Tom. And obviously, we'll keep you guys updated with each one. More than likely, when we do this, just because of the timing of the podcast, the timing of the Stewards reports, these will probably, or hopefully, not every week change, but they may change from now until we race again tomorrow night on Bahrain.
Can I just quickly do a quick shout out though? Actually, just a quick shout out before you go really quickly run through, because I know we're running short on time here. But we need to give a big shout out to Shane. Because Shane's done an amazing job with putting the drivers in the right tiers. I mean, we've myself and Ben, we were absolutely blessed with some fantastic driving in F3. It was really close. It's probably going to be, if not one of the most closest divisions for qualifying for race pace, I think, for all the divisions. And that's not because we're trying to big up F3. It's actually truth. If you looked at Q1's times, it was the top 16, 17 drivers were 6 tenths off the pace, and that is very, very close. So that's just Q1. So just give you an idea. But yeah, big shout out to Shane. He's done a fantastic job with the recruitment, and I know he's there to build people to come in. But fair play to him. He's done a really good job.
Just to break that down, McLaren, as I said, propping up the table at the moment, but it's a long way to go, boys, in McLaren. It's only week 1 of this, still plenty of points. It's 600 odd points available, so yeah, still plenty of time to go, but their main points were actually F2, so good result from there. Mercedes, we already mentioned it, dyslexic, getting the 25 points in F1, picking up their 29 that they have at the moment. Williams on 30, good solid points all round. F5 and F3 picking up the most points there. Toro Rosso, their most points were F5 and F3, again similar to Williams. They also put up decent points in F1. Then we went to the gap of Racing Point on 52. Racing Point, they got obviously the race win for Timonique in F5. Picked up their most points there. Then we went to the Haas team, or Haas, however you mention it. Big points in F4. So they are, I believe, second in the constructors in that division at the moment, so it's very, very good points. And the race win in F3, so that's the majority of them. Then we went to Renault. They had solid points all round. The race win from No Shells in F2, and then solid points from then on out, including a good solid amount in F1. Ferrari, majority of their points went from F2, and then a good result from obviously Lauda, we pointed out, in F5. So yeah, good consistent ones, and then obviously the podium from Unity in F1. Alfa Romeo, obviously second, just behind the Red Bull as we mentioned. Big points in F2. Then they had an up and down week. Big points in F2, then went down a little bit in F4, then went back up in F5, and then a bit more in not in F3, but then a big load in F1 as well. So they're leading. And then obviously Red Bull 2 points ahead, as you mentioned. Obviously the big swing of points coming from F4, the first and third, meaning they're leading the charge. But it's week 1, long way to go, boys, of course. So still, it's going to be down to consistency, as we always say, in the drivers and the teams and the combined. It's going to be just pick up your points wherever possible.
Correct, absolutely correct on that one. But obviously you've got some tough tracks coming up. We've got Bahrain and China, so two races that obviously Bahrain being a lot of people have enjoyed it and some people are not liking it. And then of course you've got China, because it can be either a dry race or wet race, and with the part firm options available, you never know what you're going to be in for.
Well, as we have ticked over the hour mark, we can only briefly talk about our next track coming up this week, which is, of course, as Tom mentioned, Bahrain this week. And obviously, as always, F2 will be kicking things off tomorrow night. Then the first race under the floodlights is obviously going to be a spectacle for every tier this week. And if I'm always remember about Bahrain, the qualifying is always very, very close, and the difference between the tiers is not very widespread, as say often tracks like the pole of F1 and compared to the pole of F2 and pole of F3 can be very, very close. So qualifying is going to be a spectacle.
Yeah, as you just said, F1, F2 times will be close, F3 to F2 will be close, and so on and so forth. So track positions keep, although you can overtake around Bahrain, so it'll be good to watch.
Yeah, plenty of overtaking, especially on that front straight. But this track can bite Alonso, can't it? They've got that double left-hander, the ice curb, as I refer to it, at the penultimate corner. So this track can bite, but should be very entertaining.
Well, you should know all about the penultimate corner, actually, Brundle. You've had a couple of occasions where you've
spun it, yes.
Spun it a couple of times.
Yeah, should be good.
Yeah, no,
I
think it'll be really good. So, but also track limitations as well, because it's quite an easy place to get a few penalties as well. So,
it's not as bad as Australia. There are places, don't get me wrong. I mean, is this what it's going to be every week? I'm going to be the one that says, "Oh, where can you get the most corner cuts?"
Well, I'm sure we'll be watching you to see where we can get them.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I believe the first few corners in the middle sector, actually. I think turn 6, 7, I think it is. The S section at the top of the track. I think that's probably the most liable place, and actually edge of turn 2, probably, as well. If you be a bit too greedy over those curbs, you can. Not as bad as Australia. Nowhere near as bad as Australia. Might get a few people, 1 or 2. Oh yeah, one thing actually. I don't know whether you've noticed this, Ben. The pit entrance. You know the indicator that says whether you're on the speed limit or not. Very late to come up at this track. I don't know why that is, but might get a few speeding penalties in the pit lane if people aren't too aware of that.
Yeah, people have to watch out for that. That could wreck someone's race, but it's down to the driver, I guess, so we shall see.
Is that to do because the run into the pit lane is not very much? Is that the reason why the indicator doesn't come up until like very late? Yeah. Won't be a problem in China. There's a good sort of way into that, so yeah. Yeah, should be good. Should be good. And as I said, things kick off on Sunday for the F2 division, 8 o'clock, where Primus Gaming and RSF1 Skadoosh, or Element Snow, will be kicking off the action. Who can regroup in the best fashion if they've had a bad race in Australia? and somebody different take the race victory again. No shells, repeat the feat on Sunday. So make sure you watch that. And then, of course, you have the tiers as follows. F4 on the Monday with myself and AMS Vettel. Then you have F1 on the Tuesday, which is Shane and Rebster. Then you have F5, which is Raikkonen and Bamba Viking. And finally, to finish off the week in Bahrain, will be, of course, the frontline speed boys of F3, Verstappen and Alonso. All 8 o'clock, of course. And then we'll be podcast again, same time next week. We'll be reviewing Bahrain and once again going over the combined team totals. Are we going to have a new victor at the top? Can anybody topple Red Bull after the first week? We shall see. So, for myself, RSF1 Bundle from Alonso and Verstappen, thank you for your company.
No problem.
Thank you.
Okay. All the best of luck and happy racing. Don't bite at each other too much over the week, boys. Those racing. Enjoy yourself and take care and good night.